Hello, hello,
Okay,
hello.
yes, episode 7, everyone. What are we
Let's
gonna be talking
go.
about today, Nato? What are we gonna be talking about?
This is gonna be an exciting day. Finally, I convinced Spiro to do an ancient civilization video.
Oh, oh
Oh
no.
no.
Yeah, he's a,
So yes, so for people who don't know, we are not gonna talk about ancient civilization about the one that we know in history. We're gonna talk about a theory. This is a theory, is not proven, and about an ancient civilization before the one that we know.
Hmm.
So, Spiro, I know you. The first thing you would be is like, this is a lot of stupid stuff, and it's like the first thing that comes in mind to everyone, even to me in the start. But
Hmm.
there is some evidence there for some stuff. You know what I mean? There is some evidence, and
Yeah,
the mainstream the archaeologists, they don't have an answer for it. So if you don't have an answer for it, then until they have an answer for it, we can dream.
yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the theory starts with the younger dryas. So for anyone who doesn't know what the younger dry is supposed to be, is a period uh of like cooling, like the Arctic time, you know, when the we had the Arctic, when
Yeah.
the ice age. So basically this is a little bit after the ice age, but before our time, like before the ice age, like the ice age kind of melted. This happened, it cooled again, and then it became back again normal.
This was about
It's like
12,000 years ago.
2,900 to 11,700 years ago, basically. It's like a long time.
Yeah, I see this one as well. Like, I thought,
So, and for people who be like, oh, remember, guys, our civilization is only like what, 2,000 years old? A little bit more than that, 3,000 years old.
hmm,
That's pretty much all we know. So, but there is like billions of years before that that we don't know anything about. Like the Earth was like not inhabited for most of it, but there's like some millions of years where it was. So why there couldn't be a civilization those millions of years? You get what I mean, Spiro?
yeah.
Is like us now. How long do you think our civilization gonna be? Forever? Maybe in like in 1,000 more years we get disappeared from this from Earth, you know, and maybe
Probably,
another
yeah.
civilization comes in, and they will know about us because of the things that we build. So that's what the archaeologists do. They look for art, for equipment, for weapons, for things that we build to prove that that civilization exists. And that's why they believe that there was nothing before, because they cannot find anything from that period of time.
Hmm.
But what the other side says is that it was so long ago that we basically lost all the evidence about it, and the only thing remaining is like big structures, like the one we're going to talk about today. But anyways,
What I think as well, Nato, I think
yeah,
it's like the drawings on the caves. Do you know
yeah,
the ones that we found as well? Like the drawings of the caves. I think that gives an idea of like if there actually was a civilization before that period
yeah.
of time. I thought you were talking like I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought you found the word out of nowhere, but yeah, you're right. There was a period called the Younger Dryas, and
Yeah, no, there is the younger, right? So
yeah,
basically, here's where we're coming in a little bit of a theory. This is not proven,
nope,
but there is quite good evidence about it, but it's not proven. So there is a stream of meteorites that passes through Earth twice a year, even to this day, which I forgot the name of it. But there is basically a stream of meteorite that passes every two times every year through Earth, but it's not really a problem yet. Maybe one day it will be, but it's not a problem because it doesn't hit us. You know what I mean? It just passes
mm,
by us. So the theory is that uh, basically some of the those comets actually hit Earth, and it
yeah,
hit them basically in North America, a little bit in Europe, and a little bit in Asia. Like it was like small comets everywhere. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that cooled that hit the ice, melted it, and brought a flood. And that
mm,
flood supposedly is what destroyed that civilization. Like a big flood, like Noah's Ark. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Is in the Bible. There's Noah's Ark. But if you go to Chinese, to Mesopotamia, if you go Indonesia, every single uh, every single of our civilization have a history about a flood that happened, but it's usually in mythology or something. So people don't take it seriously because it's like people believe in the Bible, but nobody really believes that much in the Noah Ark in the Bible, right? Not many people believe that that was like really real. It was
Can I,
more of a
yeah,
like a way to explain like a story, like Adam and Eve, right? Nobody believes that the Adam and Eve story was kind of like the snake came, or I mean, it's more of a interpretation of like the bad guy came
yeah.
and like brought the bad to human,
Can
but
I can I
the
just
story
say,
itself is
can
not
yeah,
real.
can I
Nobody
just say
believes
something?
really this the story. Yeah,
You know that you said the meteors as well, right? So you said about the
yeah,
meteors. So basically, yeah, I know there's like a shower of meteors like every year or so, every 2 years. However, they thought it was a theory about where, like, from where water originated from, because
yeah.
the
From
Earth
meteors.
was, yes, that's what they thought. But scientists have actually, if you, I don't know if you are updated with this, there's another ocean beneath Earth. Do you know that? There's like a fourth
Yeah,
ocean or
that's
something like that.
cool. I didn't know about it, but I know that the ocean is like
Yeah.
deep. That's the only thing I know
So
that is
they,
way deep than we think.
it was
Like we know less about
discovered.
the ocean than we know about the space. By the
Yeah.
way, if, I don't know if you know
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
which
That's
is
true. Yeah.
insane.
But basically, they found this ocean and they basically explain. So now they're trying to explain how like water came into the earth because
Yeah,
we
that's what I'm saying.
literally
There's a
just
lot of stuff that
yeah
people don't know about.
because we thought like if water was truly from a meteor, like hit the earth
Yeah,
and
it will be a little bit
spread,
weird as well.
we
How much
yeah
big was that meteor to bring that much water? You know what I mean? Because there's a
yeah
lot of water. 70% is water or something.
exactly, and
eighty
that
percent
means
or
that
something is water.
we are not truly from this like earth. Do you know what I mean? We are
Yeah,
70%
I
water.
actually this was one of my
Yeah,
alone theories. I think that humans may be like partially aliens. We may be the aliens
yeah,
in Earth. Like maybe we came with a meteor, like like
yeah.
bacteria, you know, and then we just like grew up, and then the cell became something else, more and more. You know how the first cell,
That's
maybe the first
Superman.
cell wasn't in Earth, maybe it was outside Earth. The first cell and came here. But hey, we
Yeah,
don't know about it. That's the theory as well. That's what beauty about theories. You can always theorize until somebody proves you wrong.
exactly. But yeah, I mean, if one thing is that we came from the deeper ocean inside, then that
Yeah,
means we're
it's
from here.
water.
But if not, if the meteors is like, it makes sense and they brought DNA to us, which is the water, is from another galaxy or another whatever, you know what I
I've
mean, of
said it will make
space.
sense on how fast we progressed. Or
Exactly.
my theory is the reason we progress fast, or maybe it was in our DNA already to progress fast.
Maybe that might be a theory, but yeah.
Maybe like we mixed the alien with the Earthling thing, and we became
Hmm.
us human. That's why we are the only one with intelligence
I
compared to
think
animals or
we
anything else.
progressed more from the 90s. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
we
The
at some point we
1100s.
progressed too much. Like
Yeah,
we were supposed to be
1900s.
still in the medieval or something.
Yeah,
But
but
it's something like a theory like that, right? That where we are supposed to be way behind than what we are now.
exactly. But we progressed so much, I think, through war. Everyone, like, every civilization
Yeah,
through war has progressed because all it does is literally you trying to find something to basically hurt or harm the enemy. Do you know what I mean? You're trying to
yeah,
make something more to fight the enemy. For example, the dark web.
yeah.
Yeah. So that originally was created by the American military.
Yeah, I know
If you
it was
notice that
for
for
military. The
secret,
internet,
yeah,
all of it was for military in the start before
yeah.
they gave it to the public.
So basically, so they don't, so
Yeah,
the
they want to
Germans don't
pass
have access to it,
messages.
yeah.
Yeah,
And yeah, with that, they basically try to hide stuff or, for communication. So that's what
yeah,
happened. But anyways, let's go back to the theory that there was a civilization before the Dryas.
yeah.
I
So
think one of if I may add, I will let you speak as well, right?
yeah,
Sorry about that.
you can tell your
If I may add, the Earth, I think maybe before that, it was covered with mushrooms. Do you know that? Volcanoes
yeah.
and mushrooms as well. So it's quite, when you think about it, it's like Super Mario Land, wasn't it? But yeah, I think there was something. There was definitely something there because we as species as well, we weren't just humans. You know that. You know why we have the what's his face? The uncanny valley. You know when you feel something is different to a human, you're like, oh, that's not quite a human. Do you know what I mean? When you see something weird, because
Yeah,
we as species, we had a lot of human species on Earth, and then we basically came on top. You know, the
yeah.
other ones got extinct, and we were the ones that came on top. So I think there was definitely something else before that, before the Dryas. It might have been human species, it might have been something else. That's what I think. Like a
We
dominant.
never know what it was. I mean, some people talk
Mm,
about the Anunnaki, which I don't really want to talk too much about it. It could be true, but I think it goes a little bit too much into the. I'm trying to keep it like more real because the Anunnaki was supposed to be like an alien race, so I don't want to put them in. Maybe they
no.
were like an ancient civilization race, and people just call them aliens or God for whatever reason. Because I mean, if you see people that do things that you couldn't do, how can you explain it in your
Yeah.
brain back then, right? That's what I like to think. Is like ancient Greeks, right? If you saw the thunder, you said, "Oh, it's God Zeus being mad at us," because you didn't understand what a storm is. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
didn't know why the storm was coming. In your eyes, you did something bad, and now God is punishing you for it. Get it? I think that's what happened to some people. Like, and they would like myths are basically stories told to people to warn them about something, and they just try to explain it in a way to make sense that makes sense to them. That's why it sounds fake, because technically some of it is fake, but there is some information through that one that they were trying to pass to you.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So we can say that the after the Younger Dryas, the ice melted. Makes sense since the meteors hit the ice and
Mm.
everything, and they start melting. And then what happens when the ice melts? It becomes war, and then war needs to go somewhere. So we get the flood, and the flood starts killing people. And when you see that one, what would you do? You will try to warn the next people that this can happen, right? So they
Yeah.
don't fell prey to the same thing that you fell prey of. So
There was way
our
more
first,
land. Yeah, back in the day there was
yeah,
way more land. Yeah.
and it's like the classic theory. The I forgot the name of it. What was the theory? Basically, which is not a theory, is like proven, no, that
Mm.
uh, every land was like mixed together, right? Like everything was one, and then it broke up into what we have now because of the titanic plates below the earth. What is it called? I forgot what it's called when the earth was all one. All the Every
It's
land was all together in one. I forgot the
yeah.
name of it. It's like there is a name for it. I forgot it now. Jesus Christ, my geography is gone. But anyways, our first uh evidence here is,
So it was the supercontinent
yeah, this
Pangaea.
gonna, yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. That's it.
So that was where
Uh,
all modern continents
yeah,
were joined into
and
one
I'm
and
pretty sure
existed.
this is like a proven one, right? Like the
Yeah.
everybody believes this is not like a
Yeah,
fake
yeah,
one.
yeah,
It's not like
yeah.
a flat Earth shit.
And it basically says that it existed about
Yeah,
240 million years ago, and it began to break
remember,
apart
guys,
200 million years
Earth
ago.
is a long time. Earth has
Yeah,
been here, guys, and we haven't been for almost nothing compared to
exactly.
what Earth has been here. So
He,
our first evidence, Mr. Spiro, is Göbekli Tepe,
pardon?
and Göbekli Tepe
Yeah.
is in Turkey and is a structure, a megalithic structure that was built 12,000 years ago. When was the Young Dryer happen? Do you
Yeah,
remember?
yeah.
Where it says 12,000 to 11,000 years ago. And this is the oldest megalithic that we have ever found until now, at least. Like, this is the oldest thing that has been ever built. And this was built close to the ice age. What were our people doing in the ice age, if you remember, Spiro? Were they building anything, or were
Mm.
they just hunters hunting and just
Hunters and
living
staying in caves. Yeah,
in the cave? So how did those cavemen build this?
that is
You can
true.
search it up.
Yeah,
Göbekli
I know, no,
Tepe.
I know, I did now. I can see it in front of me.
And here is the crazy part about it. It was covered up and it had become a mountain. And it hadn't become a mountain, like not a mountain, like a hill. And it hadn't become a hill, naturally, like sun just covered it. Somebody intentionally covered it up.
Oh
Who
my
covered this
God.
one up? God knows. Nobody knows who covered this and why they covered it up. And nobody knows exactly why they built this, what this is. It's implied that it has to be something with theology because there is some science in there, some like animals, some stuff towards the star, pointing towards the star. You can tell that it's pointing towards the star. And the crazy part about it is that the oldest part, because it's like it was not built like fast, right? It was built in hundreds of years or something, thousands of years. It was built slowly. The oldest part of it is the better built one, and the newest one is like built worst, if you know what I mean. Which
Yeah,
is weird, right? Because I if you learn how to build a house, you will build it better the next time, right? You will not build it worse than the first time you build it.
yeah.
So the more you do it, the more you should be able to do it. So people uh, think that whoever passed the information to them was the one that built it first. So he was the one that knew how to build. And then the rest, they just tried to mimic him. And they couldn't do it because they didn't have the same
Materials didn't have the same
they,
structures.
they
Yeah,
didn't have the same knowledge, everything that
yeah.
the first guy who built it had. And there is some snakes that come from the sky. What else came from the sky? The meteors. The
Yeah.
meteors are like snakes, no? They are like a line with a head in front, right? So what is a snake? There's a head with a line on the back. So I think the snakes are basically just meteors, and they just don't know what a meteor is, so they just drew a snake because that's the closest thing they could think that looks like it and is bad in their head.
Oh
These
my
are
God.
on the
Yeah.
these are all in the there's some columns, I don't know how you say them, in the
Mm.
building. Basically, if you see it and it's like the building there is animals, there's some snakes coming from the sky and stuff like that. They don't make sense,
Okay,
basically, the drawing to us.
I'm gonna tell you something as well, right?
Yeah.
This is as well. This is actually new. They found this in 2025. So there was the oldest human construction ever discovered, which is 3 times older than Egypt's Great Pyramids, at least 23 years old, and I thought it was 15. When was it, Joel? I saw the young dryas, like
I think it
12,000
was
years
like
ago.
16,000 years from now,
Yeah,
like 16,000. So you need to understand from when it was built. Is
yeah.
like it was
So
built like 2000, 12,000 before Christ or
yeah.
something.
So listen to this guy. So basically, there's a place in Greece. It's called in Thessaly, central Greece. Basically, there is a cave called the Cleopatra Cave. You can Google it as well. And basically reveals a groundbreaking discovery in human history. Archaeologists have uncovered a stone wall inside the cave dating back approximately 23,000 years ago. Right? 23,000 years ago. This makes
That
it
was
the oldest human-made structure, predating the famous pyramids of Khufu, I think it's called, which was built around 6,000 years ago. The site, located just 3 kilometers from the Matera rock formation, offers a rare glimpse into prehistoric life during the last ice age. But when was the last ice age though? Because that's the thing, this is a discovery which is quite mad. It's 23,000 years old.
yeah, man.
So the young dryas, let's see on Google, the young dryas.
I think this was before even the young dryers. I think somebody did this even before.
Yeah. So, so the young dryas were 12,100 and 11,700 years ago. So this discovery here that I'm telling you, this basically writes off the theory. Like the theory, it will be true that there was a civilization, before the Young
I mean, it
Dryas?
couldn't be just one. I think that people like are stuck into this one. I think it was multiple of them. I
Yeah,
think there was more than one,
yeah.
but I think they could even communicate with each other. And I think people are stuck that there is only one. Because like the people that I've heard, like I think there's this is my own theory. I think there is more than one, but I think people were stuck on one because I
Because what
think
you
that
can
just the
find, yeah.
one just gives away the information to everybody else. But I
I
think there was maybe like two
think,
or three
yeah,
or something like that, and they probably could even communicate with each other somehow. I don't know how, but they could communicate with like they knew of each other's existence.
yeah. I think we, as humans, we were like animals. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't be able to communicate. We wouldn't be able to say, like, speak like how we do now. You know what I mean? We couldn't be able to
Maybe I don't
speak.
know. It's like could
But,
be
you know,
their
we
own
have,
language somehow.
yeah, you know, we have instinct.
Mhm.
You know how animals have
Yeah,
instinct? They don't speak, they don't talk, but they have instinct. So I think that's what probably would do as well. They wouldn't talk, they wouldn't speak or something like that. They would have instinct. So with the instinct, they would, you know, do stuff on the daily life. For example, the man or the woman, I don't know what was back in the day. I think humans were a bit more. The man goes outside, whereas the woman was basically like, um, you know, defending the family. If that makes any sense.
yeah,
So it would be natural for them to do it back in that day. Like they would go and hunt, and they were like, you know, humans were like wolves back in the day with groups and everything, so they can hunt. So that's
yeah.
what they would do.
But plus, something that people don't know is that humans, like ours, like the Homo sapiens, they were actually quite peaceful people. So they will not start really wars that much.
Not
It was
really.
more the Neanderthal that would start the wars, while we were more of a peaceful tribe. So it's easier for us to be able to communicate and trust other
Yeah.
humans in a way. You know what I mean? So like we will be worried in the start because we have been there. We had to fight the Neanderthals, so you will be like scared of other humans. Like that fear is in your DNA
Yeah,
already
the
pre-built in,
Uncanny
but you can
Valley.
go past it, but you can get past through it if you
Mm.
see that the other one is not trying to harm you.
It's
And
Uncanny Valley. We all have it. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
an out of body
it's in your
experience.
DNA because your ancestor had to keep running
Yeah.
and pretty much everything wanted to kill you. So you had to survive, and to survive, you needed this, this feeling. So this feeling
Yeah.
got passed through to the next generation, so they can understand as well. That's why there is multiple, even about your sleep. That's why you get paralyzed at your sleep because your people were sleeping in trees. So for you to not fall, your body had to paralyze itself.
Mm.
That's why the sleeping. That's why you can get sleeping paralysis as well. A little bit like you wake up while your body is paralyzed in this paralysis,
Yeah.
and then you can't move.
Yeah. What I think is what I think with these is like we haven't actually like we basically will see something was oh it's not quite right and we'll have that little fear
Yeah,
that
I'm just saying
yeah.
that there was something there. Something happened. At least, even if it was an ancient civilization, like
Mm.
before, like I'm not saying that it was like us, right? Like I'm not saying that these guys they could do what we could do now. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's what some people get it wrong when we say advanced technology, because people will think advanced technology also they are like us.
Yeah.
I don't think they were like us. They were different. They had like a different way. Maybe they found a different way in technology. I don't know what they did. I don't know how they did it because nobody knows. Like, how did the pyramids get built? I don't believe the ancient Egyptians built it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. I know that people think that ancient Egyptians. How did they do it? It makes no sense. Like
Mm.
the rock is like 2 or 3 tons or something. You cannot carry that. I'm not sure. I don't care how many people you put to push that thing. Is you are not gonna push it. And if you manage to push it, that's fine. Like I could see a world where you can like push it with logs and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like with smartness, you push it. How do you then get it up? Because you need to put it on top and then on top and then on top again. And you did it precisely. Like none of you were like, I can't carry this anymore. I'm gonna put it a little bit.
Mm.
Like perfectly. Everything was put perfectly, and then it's exactly in the middle of like Earth. Like the with the how do you call them? With the time and everything like that. Like
Yeah.
it points. Everything is perfect, which makes no
Do you
sense. How
know
did they know?
do
How
you
did they
know the thing?
mathematically know it perfectly?
Do you know what thing is alright? We say about the pyramids how they build, but another question is, you know the Colossus of Rhodes? How the fuck did they build that? And that was
I think
ancient
that one.
Greece.
I think that one. What happened is I think that one. It was smaller than
You
people
think
made it.
so?
I think it was
Probably.
smaller than people made it think that it was. Yeah, I don't think it was as big.
Yeah,
At
but
least that's
still,
what they
how?
say. People say that it was big, but like the archaeologists that I searched a little bit because I was uh quite interested at some point. The archaeologists were saying that it wasn't as big as people made it, but nobody has seen it, so it could have been big.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like probably somewhere down in the sea, and nobody has found it yet,
So apparently,
or they
the
got
how
stolen or something.
it was quite big. It was 33 meters.
I mean, it was big, but it wasn't like you know what the you have seen the pictures where it's like the big guy open the
Yeah.
legs. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
wasn't that big. That's
I
what I'm trying
mean,
to say. It was
33 meters is quite big though. How big
I don't
was
know.
the?
It was like a big one on the side, kind of like
Okay.
just like a statue on the side. It wasn't with the open legs. It was only from one side. You know what I mean? It wasn't
Hmm.
both sides. That's what I've heard. What I remember from what I searched back in the days. It's been some
Yeah,
time since I
yeah.
checked.
I mean, you make sense of it. It wasn't as big as a pyramid or something like that, but it was
Yeah.
still for back in the day, even before the bloody pyramids.
Yeah, it's like
You know what I mean? Like how the fuck?
some people did some stuff, man.
Yeah.
And then for pyramids as well, how did everybody know how to build a pyramid? Like, what's up with that? Like,
Yeah.
there's pyramids in Mexico, there's pyramids in the jungle,
That
there's
is weird.
pyramid. Like, how did you guys know how to build a pyramid? Okay, like maybe one or two countries had the same idea, but everybody had the same idea. Like, what's up with that? You know what I mean? Or maybe somebody else came and told everybody about it.
Do you know what? That's the thing as well. That's one of the things we can't find out. How did the build and how was the communication with like Sudan that has the pyramids, Mexico, North America has
Remember,
one.
all of these guys, like if you have done any ancient Greek history, you know that the ancient Greeks thought that Greece is the only like place in the world, like there was nothing else. And then they found Egypt, and they were like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's just us, Egypt and Rome. That's it. There is no more. Asia
Yeah, I
doesn't
know.
exist.
Yeah.
You
You know
know,
that
America doesn't exist."
there is a Bosnian pyramid as well. There's one in Balkans as well. You know that in Bosnia there is a
And then
pyramid.
crazy shit here is a map, a Ryan's map, something like that. Is his name something with R. This guy
Yeah.
has Antarctica in his map
I
and
don't
is
know.
without ice.
Yeah.
How did they even know about Antarctica? We found out about Antarctica in like 1960 or something like that, like 1600 something. So
I
how
see.
did these guys know about that when they didn't even know where America was? You know what I mean? Like what's up with that? Because Antarctica is like you cannot find it unless you know that
Oh
it's
my
very hard to
God.
find it.
Yeah. There was
And they
Antarctica was
found it, and not
discovered.
only did they just found it, but
Yeah.
it was without ice. And the guy who made the map said that he got the information from all their maps, from maps in from when Great Alexander was alive. And those maps were taken from previously older maps. So how did these even older people knew about Antarctica, but they didn't know about the rest of
A
the world. They
Russian
didn't even
actually
know where North Europe was.
a Russian discovered Antarctica actually
Yeah,
in 1820, which is quite,
yeah. Look how it's new compared to
yeah.
like these guys had it already mapped
Who had
longer
the map?
before.
The
Like just 1 second, let me find that
where
map.
the maps of Antarctica? Okay,
The
so oh my
Piri
God.
Reis map. Piri Reis map.
Oh my God. So yes, maps depicting Antarctica or what was the southern continent existed prior to the 20th century, but they were not entirely accurate and often depicted the continent in a speculative manner. Early maps, particularly from the 16th century, sometimes included an outline of Antarctica's coastline. Oh my God! So they actually had maps of it.
Yeah, they had it mapped. Like, sure, not everything is right. No, no shit. Like, of course
Yeah,
they couldn't do it perfectly, but like there is an idea that there was something there. Like they knew that
yeah.
there was something there. How did they know there was something there? And the guy himself, in his like, there is like information that he left together with the map, saying that he got the information from older maps. So somebody older than him knew about it.
You know, Antarctica is bigger than the USA.
Yeah, it's a big thing, but
Oh,
most people didn't even know
wow.
that it existed until they found it in 1820. That you said
Did you know?
nobody knew about it.
Did you know Antarctica used to be a big jungle?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just
So.
after the ice age, it became with ice. And Africa as well. It used to be a jungle. It wasn't the
Oh,
Sahara,
yeah.
and it will go back there. Like eventually, it will become again a jungle. It's becoming slowly, but it will become eventually.
It says 90 million years ago Antarctica was a jungle. Can you
Yeah.
imagine that? Damn.
So the map shows Antarctica as a jungle.
It was a
So what's up with that?
rainforest.
Where they found it? Some people say that it was in the Alexandria Bibliothèque,
Mm.
whatever it's called. And after it got destroyed, some of the books made it out, and it's one of the
The
maps that we know
library,
and
yeah.
the stuff. Yeah. So yeah, that's
The
some crazy stuff.
Alexandria Library fire.
That's what I'm saying.
This
There's like
is.
some stuff that suddenly don't make sense. Like the history is like, wait a minute, you guys haven't showed us information about this one. I thought the pyramids were built for the pharaohs, like for the pharaohs to
Yeah.
sit to die when they die for like a grave. But then I learned that that one is a theory from a guy that from a British guy who came to by the way, I'm just telling you this one as well. I don't know if you knew it, but it was a British guy who came to Egypt and he saw the pyramids for the first time, and he said, "Oh, it must be it must be a grave for the
Yeah.
pharaohs." So it's just his theory. It doesn't mean that it's real. I mean, it could be real. Like he could have been right, but it's just he's like a random, like not a random guy. He was a discovering archaeologist, but
Mm.
like it was just his. Maybe it's that, and then we just all ran with it. Like, oh yeah, you're right, bro.
Can you imagine
It's
that? Yeah. Oh,
reality.
you're actually right. It
Nobody
was
knows. Nobody
Howard.
knows if it really is.
So
Nobody
it
has no
was
clue. They
Howard
haven't found a single
Carter.
pharaoh inside of a
Yeah.
pyramid.
Oh, there
So
was
how is
like.
it? They say that they got robbed, but how many? Like, come on, every single one got grave robbed,
Right, there was actually, look,
and they didn't find anything.
I found it was is the names were like they found King Tut's intact tomb in 1922 by Howard Carter and George Herbert. So is that yeah they're probably English people, yeah, they found it and they went with it. So it
That's
might be all
about
the
it.
pharaohs have their own. Yeah, but at the same time though, why is there a pyramid in Mexico? Like, do you know what I mean? Why is there a pyramid in Bosnia? Like, why? There's no.
And
It
some
doesn't
of
make
these,
any sense.
some pyramids of this, there most of these are built usually to check the stars. Like everything is to check the stars. Like they love, like ancient civilization, they love to check the stars for some reason. They
Oh,
really love that.
actually, I'll tell you something. There was a Greek geographer back in the day, 25 BC before Christ. So he visited Egypt around 25 BC, noted that the pyramids were the burial place of kings. So he basically he was the one to discover that, you know what I mean, in his writings. So it was a Greek guy
Interesting.
actually. And then the other ones
Interesting.
came in 1922.
That's interesting. I didn't
Yeah,
know about
if
the
you
Greek guy. Like
yeah, if
as you
you
grow up, you learn.
yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the good thing about this, because it's like we say stuff that we've heard. We say like, oh, we doubt ourselves and stuff like that because we heard it from other people. We want to talk about it, so we just go to the Google and just find new things. His name was Stravos, and yeah, it says if you check it, it says on his writings, he said the Greek geographer Strabo, who visited Egypt around 25 BC, noted that the pyramids were the burial place of kings. So he was on his writings, and he was right, I guess. The pharaohs.
Maybe he saw maybe have read about this guy as well, so that's why he came to the same
Yeah,
conclusion.
yeah.
That's how
So
we get
then
this.
they found it. They found some of the burials and stuff
I mean, anyways, what I was trying to go through though is that the giant pyramid, what is called the big pyramid,
of
the
Giza.
biggest one, the Giza, yeah. Uh, Basically that one would have been a burial for the king, but I think it was built
You
before
think
the
so?
Egyptians, and it was like a big thing for them. So they maybe like, I mean, where would you bury the pharaoh? I guess like the biggest pharaoh, you would probably bury him in the most
Oh,
important place.
no, no, that's wrong. The biggest pyramid, actually. Sorry about that. It's in Mexico,
I mean, we were
not
talking about
Pisa.
Egypt, I mean,
Yeah.
but in Mexico is the biggest one.
It's the largest pyramid in the world by volume, surpassing even the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. Despite being shorter in height, it is significantly wider, so with a base of 300. By the way, just before I say something, it's not only the pyramid on the outside, it's the inside. They have
Yeah.
found something with signal analysis, like the base
Yeah,
of
I
it.
told you that there
Yeah,
was something more about this one.
there,
I'm telling you, and this one is another
there
proof that they found shit
was,
below it.
there was something. There's something below. They don't know what it is, but it goes really far down, which is interesting. You know what I mean?
And another one is the head, the Sfiga,
Yeah.
the
The
Sfiga. By the way,
yeah.
that one, do you believe? I think the human head was built later on. I don't think it had a human head in the start
Yeah. Do you think so?
because so what happened is they found that the bottom part is older than the top part,
Mm,
like
there is.
quite older. So I think what happened is I think the ancient Egyptians, they found it and they just built the head on top because probably the previous head was like destroyed because the below one was covered with sand but the top one wasn't. So I think like as time went through, like the top one got destroyed but the bottom one, because it was covered, it kept itself. So
Mm.
the
Do you
Egyptians
know?
built the head
Do you know what I
on
like
top of it.
about this? We talked about like surrounding other stuff, and then we
Yeah.
went back to the pyramids.
No, but because you
Everyone
gotta go,
goes, yeah.
because there's all of this and like, no, but the thing with this one with the head of Sfiga is, why was it built in a lion? Do you know why?
Mm, don't know.
Because it looks to the, when you look to the sky, the signs,
Yeah.
it looks, when it was built, it looks where the lion sign is in the sky. Get it?
Mm,
The signs, you're a lion, you're a Capricorn,
yeah.
you know that there's like they are in the stars, right? Like they are like drawn in the stars. That's how we took them from. Like if you look at the sky at night in a perfect place, you're gonna see like the lion drawn with the stars and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because they usually always looked up in the stars. But here, what doesn't make sense, when this was supposed to be built, the Sphika is supposed to look at the Taurus, not the lion. So why they build the lion and not the Taurus?
Mm.
Because it was built before when the lion was looking. It was already built when they found it, and they just built a head on top of it because they were not thinking of the stars.
Do you think there's no coincidence that there is a pyramid? Because my thing is, right, it's so unlikely to be a coincidence that, in Mexico, do you know how far away is Mexico from Egypt? It's so far
Just,
away.
I don't think they ever met each other ever.
No,
Probably.
no, no, never. You can't, man. They would, like, America wasn't, like, discovered yet or something like that, and they basically went there. Can you imagine someone that knows about the pyramids from Europe, okay, European guy, or like Christopher Columbus, he knows about the pyramids to explore. He's an explorer. He knows about it, yeah. And then he
Yeah.
goes across in Mexico, in America, first time, and he sees there all the people, and he sees another pyramid. Do you know how? Why would you not be fear? You know what I mean? Would you not fear for yourself? Like, what's going on here? Why is there pyramids all across, the world? What happened? There's no other thing is a coincidence, you know?
Then I think somebody showed everybody because they found proof that there was ancient civilization in
Yeah.
South and North America before the one that they were like trying, like they
Mm.
thought it was before. They already changed now their mind. And we're going to the next topic, Amazon. Ooh, Amazon
The
forest.
Amazon forest.
So if you don't know, basically, you know that the Spanish, they went. We talked about Columbus, right? So
Yeah.
that was a perfect setup for me to go to my
Mm.
next point.
That's
So
alright. Yeah.
as you know, the Spanish, they were conquistadors, right? The conquistadors, they were like they went to South
Big
America
explorers.
and
Yeah.
they did what they did. Well, some of them came back and said that in the Amazon forest they saw a lot of civilization,
Yeah.
but when they went back, ain't nobody was there. but
Okay.
they took them like it took them like a long time, like 10,000 years or something to go back. Like it took them like no, like one like 100 years or something. Like they didn't go immediately. You know what I mean? It took them
Mhm.
some years to go back. So what we were thinking is that when the Spanish went first, they basically brought the flu with them, and everybody died because they didn't have an antidote for the flu. You know,
What do you mean there
like
isn't any for the flu?
it's like now, right? If you go to Japan, to America, or something, you
Yeah.
need to get some vaccines, right? Because you don't have the same
Yeah.
uh,
If you go to
sickness
Africa, not
between
to
each other.
America, but
So
if
now
you go to
imagine if I
Africa.
go sick to a place that they never had my sickness and they
Yeah.
don't have medicine for it.
Yeah.
What do you think is gonna happen to all of them?
Actually,
They're
gonna die.
all
You
gonna
mean the
die.
Black Plague with the
Yeah, no,
rats and
it
everything?
wasn't
Yeah.
plague, but it was like a flu. It's just a normal flu, but they didn't have the
Yeah.
medicine to stop that flu. So basically, what happened is all of them just died
Oh
from this
dear.
one. So basically, the Spanish not just went there and killed people, but then they left and they let the flu and they killed even more people.
Oh my
Which is
God.
sad and it's fucked up. But yeah, that's what happened. It's like some people think that that's what happened, and people were saying that this was bullshit. It was a lie, and now after sadly for us, you know that they start cutting the Amazon forest, right, for woods and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, all the time.
They
All the time
found
now.
they found shapes of like cities, like big shapes randomly, like square circles. Like why are there squares and circles in a when we're saying city, we don't mean like London city, you know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
neighborhood. Like a neighborhood for them was a city back then.
Oh, you're
So
right
it's like
actually. They have.
yeah,
That's actually
so
that's the thing. That's the first thing. I'm educating
yeah.
myself now. It's quite a nice
So there was like
educational
cycles
podcast.
and squares, and we
Yeah.
found them because we start burning the Amazon. Unfortunately, it's like sad that we're burning it, but because of it, we now found this cycle. So those civilizations they were there. So actually, the Spanish technically did kill more people, and then the
Probably, yeah.
Amazon grew over the place and just hide everything, and they couldn't find it anymore because the Amazon became so big by the time they came back.
My God.
And not only that, fun fact, there is a new theory that is almost proven true that
Yeah.
the Amazon is man-made. Like we made it. It wasn't by itself made.
What?
It's a man-made
No.
because most of the trees are like fruits and stuff like that that you can eat. They are not like random trees that will grow. They are like trees
Oh
that
my
you will
God.
need.
You're
So
actually
it's
right.
like a man-made.
There is a
I'm telling you,
theory. Well, that's
like
actually,
it's,
yeah,
it's
you know your
almost
stuff.
fulfilled.
It says
And
here, the theory suggesting.
yeah,
Look, let me actually.
I'm not
The
telling you, bro.
theory.
I researched this shit before I start believing in it.
Oh my God. The theory suggesting that the Amazon rainforest is significantly man-made is based on evidence of past human activity and modification of landscape. It's not about the rainforest being completely artificial, but rather than indigenous populations have shaped and cultivated the forest over millennia, transforming it. That's actually true, because you have a lot of stuff in Amazon you can eat, like the tropical kind of, fruits and stuff, the forest fruit. So you've got like, you've got there's a lot of stuff in here. You've got the passion fruit, you've got the
Yeah.
graviola, papaya, and stuff like that. So people back in the day will probably plant these like on purpose so they can have it. That makes a lot of sense though, doesn't it? That makes a lot of sense. All these fruits that come from there, including
And
the vegetable,
now
the avocado.
and now for the final proof in Amazon, search for
Yeah.
Terra Preta.
Pera preta.
Terra Preta. Terra means earth.
Oh
Terra
my.
Preta.
We've got terra preta, so it's basically, oh,
Black soil.
yeah.
Listen and read what that does. And
So
tell me how did this fucker came up with it back in the days.
so terra preta, also known as Amazonian dark earth, is a unique type of dark fertile soil found in the Amazon basin. It's characterized by its high nutrient content and ability to retain water, making it
Because you
exceptionally
couldn't plant
fertile.
anything in the Amazon, so they
Yeah,
needed this shit. And they came up with it. How?
man, I don't even know. Yeah, that's the thing with
Bro,
humans.
bro, I'm telling you, it's crazy.
How from that? How did for me, it's like, how the hell did we go from
And now
this?
you know why it's man-made,
Yeah.
bro. These guys they were cooking there, bro.
How did we have
Because
the brain for
listen,
this?
because it makes sense. You will be like, why would you live in Amazon? But
Yeah.
think about it. Where would you live when half of the world is in ice? You
Yeah.
will go to the goddamn forest, and you're gonna be like, oh, but it's unlivable here. Well, guess what? We're cooking. We are humans. We made the terra preta,
Yeah.
the dark earth, or whatever it's called,
Especially
and we
jungle,
cooked.
it will be hard to find animals like that you can kill easily, eat easily. Do you
We
know
are
what I mean?
farmers. We are
Yeah.
farmers. We are completely
Everything can kill
cooking,
you
dude.
in
This
Amazon.
is
Do you know what I mean?
great. Even if this was an ancient civilization, this is still like this happened. Like this is real. You cannot deny
Yeah.
this. You know what I mean? This is a real thing. So at least somebody cooked enough. Like they were this human
Oh
smart
my
enough to do
god.
this, smarter than we give them at least. Like people
Yeah.
say, oh, ancient people they were dumb. No, they were not dumb, brother. They just had less information than what you have. What you have now is what they did. That's why history is good, guys. Remember history. It's
It's good.
crazy, bro.
It's an eye-opening episode. I'll say that. But
Anyways, for anyone wondering, I'm gonna plug here. Uh, Go on Netflix and watch the documentary from Graham Hancock. It's
damn.
called Ancient Civilization. Even if you don't like this stuff, honestly, just to look like it's like a geographic, like with a good camera, good quality, you're gonna watch all of this like ancient pyramids and stuff like that. You're gonna enjoy yourself,
That's gonna be fun.
even if
Yeah,
you don't believe
guys.
what he says.
If you like a
He
nice
explains
afternoon
it better
or
than me, guys. He has done more of research on this stuff. So
oh my god, you're actually right. We everything we said in this actually, guys, we have been like ahead of it, or we've done some research on it, and it actually became true. Like we googled it, you can Google it yourselves, and it became true. Yeah.
so have I changed your mind by the end of this
Yes,
podcast?
yes, it's an
Did
eye
I
opener. It's
did
like
I did I did I made you change your mind?
yeah, you made me change my mind. And you've made me actually gain some knowledge, which is quite nice because what I think knowledge does, it basically opens a window in your mind, and you get extra information.
It's
You,
good to get a
it's
different
nice. Yeah,
perspective on
yeah,
stuff, on people like that, on what they're
yeah.
thinking, because it's interesting what people think.
It is
There's some
great.
other crazy theories, but we're gonna keep them for maybe some
Maybe
future
another
episode
episode. I think we should.
because
Yeah.
some people believe that the ancient civilization that we were talking about is Atlantis. Yes, I said it.
No.
So
Ah.
people go there, brother. People go there. I don't believe it, but
think
there
it's a
is some
myth.
even evidence for that one. It's crazy. People even find evidence for that one.
Hmm.
Like people are trying to find where Atlantis will be. But so here, what people get wrong when we're talking about Atlantis, we're just talking about a civilization that were a little bit
Yeah.
more advanced, and they didn't call them themselves that. Probably we call them that. You know what I mean?
I've got
It
a
was
theory.
so
I've got a
bas-
theory. You want me to
Yeah,
tell you?
because so what happened is, it's a Greek guy again,
Plato.
Socrates.
Plato was
No,
Plato that
Platon,
said it. Yeah.
Platon. Yeah. He went to Egypt, and Egyptians told him about Atlantis. He didn't know about it. Like no, not him. His uncle went to Egypt, and the Egyptians told him about Atlantis, and he came back and told Platon, and Platon wrote about it.
Yeah.
So we don't know if it was real or not, but people are still looking for the place, and they have some theories on where it could be.
Do you know I have a theory for that? I think
Yeah,
if he was real and people were saying it from you know what I mean from ancestor to ancestor. What about um what's the city now in Italy which is basically flooding?
Venetia.
Venezia. What about Venice? Right? So if we in the
I
1000 years, will people believe that Venice existed? Yes. And I'll tell you why, because
because
of the technology
yeah,
that
we
we
have
have.
picture and things we
We
have.
have
But if we
pictures,
didn't have anything,
technology, everything.
but what if we didn't have anything
Yeah,
to write it
exactly.
down?
People were like,
To we
no,
could
no, no,
just
it's not
write it
real.
down.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
real.
that's
But
fine.
how can it be real? You know what I mean?
If you guys want to see me do the episode about Atlantis and the proof,
Please tell us.
like the video, and I will show you guys the proof.
No, I
I have it
think
ready.
honestly, I actually believe this. Not I think believe this.
I will just leave you with only one.
Yeah, go on.
The Eye of Sahara. Search Eye of Sahara
Ah,
and check that one, and tell me what does remind you.
Damn, that does remind me of Atlantis, doesn't it?
It was in the
Damn.
circles around with the war. And
Yeah,
remember, guys, Africa long ago was a jungle. It was like a
exactly.
normal thing. It wasn't a desert.
Sahara Desert was a jungle, yeah.
Yeah.
What
And
I
you
would
see like the
say,
white around it, like a little bit
hmm
of white here and there. You know what that white is?
no?
That's salt. Where does salt come from?
Oh, yeah, I know what
See
you mean. See, yeah,
what was in there? There was
yeah,
war.
true.
So there was war. But
Yeah,
yeah, this is a real picture, by the way. It's from
yeah, I
the
can see
I
it.
mean
Yeah, can
from
see it here.
above. Look, you can see this above from
Yeah.
above, basically. If you go up in the sky,
Well, I
not
think,
up in the sky, up in the space. Sorry.
yeah, I believe that basically Atlantis existed, but it's on the bottom of the sea. It's like it existed
Yeah,
before
probably
many years. People would say it, people would write it down, but people will not believe it because you haven't got any photography, you haven't got any technology to prove that
because
that's
I
existed.
just remember, guys, Athens used this as a weapon
Yeah,
to not get invaded by other people. So a lot of people say that was a lie that the Athens made up to keep
yeah,
people from invading. But people were not invading them. So you know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta question. Maybe they
yeah.
weren't invading them because they knew that the guys were real and they could come for you real quick.
I
You know what I
think
mean?
I think it existed. I believe it existed, but it wasn't as it
Yeah,
wasn't as
man.
like
I
really
don't think it was
powerful or
some
anything.
crazy. I
Or
think it was some big like
yeah,
empire that was strong.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe
And then
did
it
some stuff.
and then it
They were like
basically
navigators.
destroyed.
I
Yeah,
think I think the best they probably had it was like the sea stuff. Like maybe they were like navigators. They could like
yeah,
see the stars and like go with boats everywhere they need to go because
yeah,
that's a big thing. You know, you couldn't do it back in the days. That one. If you
yeah.
went into the sea, that's it. You get lost if you don't know where you're going and you're
I
dead.
yeah, I honestly believe it was a civilization. There was a flood. There was a drought. It happened how Venice is right now, which is basically on the sea. Venice is gonna flood, but in 1,000 years, you're not gonna like people. Let's say Renato, if you didn't have any phones, you did not have any maps, you're not from this timeline. You're from like I don't know 4,000, right? 4,000 after Christ, and people say to you Venice, right, exists, and you're like, no, what do you mean? I don't, there's nothing. People just say about Venice, but I don't know, man. There's no photography, there's no evidence of it.
But
So,
Venice,
and it's at the
like
bottom of the sea. You can't see anything. Like
yeah,
stuff
man,
have
it's too
dissolved.
deep.
You
It's
know?
too deep. When you go
Yeah,
down, you
yeah,
nobody can go down there. The pressure is not allowing
yeah.
anyone yet to go as deep as we can go.
Venice is full of wood. Venice is full of
And the
wood.
sad part is that probably in the ocean there's so much
Yeah,
stuff
yeah, yeah,
for from the past
yeah.
stuck
Hundred
down there.
percent, 100%. When the draw
So
takes
many
them, and
stuff.
you
But
can't.
we cannot
Yeah,
go. It's like the Amazon. It took
yeah.
us until now, 2018, to find this stuff because it's down there. Who is gonna go and search inside the Amazon forest? There's
Exactly.
so
Everything
much
gonna
more
kill
in the
you.
Amazon forest, by the way. I- and another place is Sahara Desert. Who is gonna go in the middle of the desert
Yeah,
and start
exactly.
searching for stuff? It's
Yeah.
hard. Nobody's gonna do it. But
But
there's stuff
everything,
there for sure.
everything on Sahara Azor, everything can be buried in the sun. Everything
Look
can be
look at
buried
look
in
at
the sun.
Göbekli Tepe. It was a
Yeah,
goddamn hill. Everybody
yeah,
thought there was a hill for fucking years. They thought there
exactly.
was a hill, and then just randomly, like some stuff starts pointing there, and they just
Or
start
about
excavating there. And they're like, wait
or
a
about
minute,
the cave, or about the cave in
yeah,
Greece,
it was there.
which
The
is
cave was in front of everybody.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But
23,000 years ago, and it was in 2025 that they found it.
even the pyramids in the jungle, if you don't go in there in the jungle to check the pyramids,
Yeah,
nobody will know. If the
exactly.
you gotta, it's hard.
Or the ocean that we found, the new
The
the new
ocean.
one. Yeah,
Crazy stuff,
it's
man.
crazy,
Crazy
man. But yeah,
stuff.
I
And
think I
imagine how many creatures are down there in the goddamn water that we don't
oh,
know
I
about,
don't
like
want to
the
know.
ones that live deep, like
I don't want
the
to know.
giant squid, right?
Yeah.
You know about the giant squid they
Yeah,
found
yeah, yeah,
recently,
yeah.
the 11 foot.
Yeah.
Let's face reality. If you saw that shit, you will think that it was a kraken as well back in the days. If that one
Exactly.
came in your boat, you know what I
Exactly.
mean? Where do you think the kraken came from? Probably from that. The people saw it and they said like, "This is it. This is the kraken. This is crazy."
This is it,
It
we
was a
die now.
big squid and people drew the kraken, you know what I mean? But it was a big
Yeah.
11 feet squid because you had seen only the small one, the 1 feet one, and then you
Mm.
see the 11 one, you're like, what the fuck is that? That's a monster. And then it destroys like something, and you are like, people just like take it and they put it out of proportion because that's what we do as humans. We
Mm.
take, because let's face reality, right? If you saw the 11-foot squid, Why are you gonna go and say back? You are not gonna say, "Oh, we saw it." You're gonna say, "It attacked us, almost killed us. I fucking killed it back." You're gonna make a story out of it to make it look more cool about yourself. That's what
Mm.
humans do. It's not. It's a normal like thing about humans to do. Nobody's gonna like. If I go and I say, "Oh, I went to the supermarket and I bought steak," what I mean,
Yeah.
nobody cares. Nobody's gonna
Yeah.
listen to me saying that. But if I say I went to the supermarket and then two people came in to steal, and I take the steak and I fucking throw it in his face and I slapped him with it and I took his gun and I shot him. Now everybody wants to hear about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I went to the supermarket, I got the steak, but the rest were not real. But there is still something real about it there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think so. There's something true. There's a little bit of true in the myths, I think.
There is some truth in it,
Yeah.
and then there's of course the lies on top of it to make it more
Yeah. Yeah.
interesting for people to listen to because nobody's gonna listen to
Exactly.
you.
It's like the
It's like your
headlines.
mother telling you, I don't know, like there's the boogeyman at night. Don't do this,
Yeah.
don't do that. Like she's just trying to make sure that you are not gonna go outside of the house and
Yeah.
like kill yourself like an idiot. She's like trying to take care of you, but she's like
That
basically
is
telling you
true.
some stupid shit because that she knows that that's the only way for you to listen at that point. You know what I mean? Because
Makes
you don't
sense.
understand.
Okay, then I'll wrap this up because
Yeah,
time is up. And yeah, it was quite nice. It was quite nice
yeah,
to
I
hear you.
enjoyed
It
it.
was quite nice to
Enjoyed it. It's
search
one
of
of
the
the things that I
stories
love.
and
I love
yeah.
history and I love ancient civilization, of course, because
That
of
is
it.
quite nice. That's quite nice. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for listening to us. I hope you do your research as well and find something that you never knew before, or I hope you basically found something with this episode that you never knew before. Like for me, it was the soil in the Amazon that I never knew existed. You know what I mean? It's like it's mad how they made it. How it's artificial. A lot of the Amazon is artificial. Is mad. But yeah, it makes sense now. It makes a lot of sense. But yeah, anyways, guys, thank you for listening, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Renato,
See you. Bye, guys.
bye bye. Don't be rude.